Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
it was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time. But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, hey, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. First NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those. One of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, nothing happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCannum still like, but look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Victory, victory, victory Tuesday here on the Buccateers podcast. Zach, J-Lo, and I all returning. Well, J-Lo had a short travel, but Zach and I a little bit farther from an epic weekend in the Bay. Seeing a home win in White Creamsicles is a beautiful thing. Had a great time, and the chat is already lively and ready to roll. Happy Tuesday, Bucs fans, says our guy Buckin. Happy Tuesday to you. Christopher Cole, victory, like that SpongeBob song goes, sweet, sweet victory. Din-din-din-din. It was almost terrible, but it was beautiful. We'll all get into that here shortly. Greetings, men. Our Nebraska native, Mike Puckhead in the house, joining us from Nebraska. Cornhuskers had a hard-fought loss this week, and that was a very tough battle. We were hoping they pulled it out, but man, we'll see. Trisha Scott, happy Victory Tuesday. We love our lady listeners. Trisha in the house. How the hell are you, Trisha? Happy Victory Tuesday to you as well. Nice bucket hat, fellas. Cute hats. We're getting compliments. Love the hats. Olivia joining us. Cute hats. So we're getting a bunch of compliments. Love our lady listeners as well, but that's 3 bucket hat comments in a row. Zach, did you end up getting a bucket?
I did not. I got into the stadium late and just tried to get to my seat, so I did not acquire one.
Hey, that's a snazzy hat you got there, though, yourself, brother.
Yeah. My bank account did not thank me, though, so. It was not free.
Yeah, got to get it how you can, right? Got to get it how you can. So cool hat yourself, brother. J-Lo, how the hell you doing? Nice bucket hat. For those wondering, somebody texted in, what's on the side of your hat? Tyke Smith actually signed our hats, which is pretty cool. So that is Tyke Smith's autograph. J-Lo, how you doing, brother?
Great, man. 3-0. Undefeated. Great start. Got a lot of things to talk about when it comes to injuries. But for the most part, hey, Victory Tuesday, man. It's great to be a Buccaneers fan right now.
It is great to be a Buccaneers fan, but it is not great that the injury bug is hidden, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit as we got some comments pouring in. Our guy Pep and Steppen was at the game, so happy 3-0. Happy 3-0 to you, Pep and Steppen, one of our favorite Canadians. I knew something happened to Coase. Say it ain't so, Coase. Say it ain't so. He played a hell of a game, too. Technically, our number one rated offensive player, according to PFF, in that game. Injury bug hitting us. Buck Nation, our guy, Bucs Nation 21, saying, hey, my guys, hey, Bucs Nation. I got mine. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. They're very nice hats. Our guy, B-Shuck, great to meet you this weekend. Well, see you again, B-Shuck, but you met J-Lo, which was awesome for you, right, J-Lo?
No, absolutely. Really cool dude, man. It was nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, Zach, that was fun Saturday. Not fun, though, these injuries. Mike Evans, hamstring. O'Keefe, leg. Obviously, some that we've already known about, the O-line, Kalijah Cansey, other wide receivers. Zach, one of those years for the Bucs, it seems, but we always have to say next man up, next man up, next man up. And that's what we're going to have to do again here, right, Zach?
Absolutely. Logan Hall also had a groin, didn't finish the game, and Izzian with a quad didn't finish the game. So hopefully those don't linger. We're already kind of thin on the defensive line as is. Although Elijah Roberts did step up, played really well, was probably going to take a lot of playing time from Hall anyway, but regardless, those are big. Coase hit me pretty hard. He's the guy that, you're not going to see a lot of 41 jerseys in the stands, but he's a lot of guy that he gets in there, brings his lunch pail, does the shit that, needs to get done that not a lot of guys are suited to do. So I think that one's going to be we're going to feel that loss at some point in the season.
We certainly are. We were talking Saturday night about his role potentially being expanded, and it did just that. It was expanded. He played a lot of snaps. He blocked really well. He was getting physical. It was good to see, but sad to see him go down. But our rookie class is standing up strong. It looks like some UDFAs helping out as well along the way. So we'll try and piece it together. Is our guy Casanova Brown. Salute to the pod. Thank you, Casanova. We appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, some jerk said the halftime giveaway was happening, so sorry about that. No, it did go quick. Usually they have T-shirt after T-shirt after T-shirt to hand out. The bucket hats, J-Lo, when we went up there, people were already swarming.
Oh, God, yes. I mean, unless you got there early like we did, those hats were flying off the shelves real quick. And they were only giving one out. Some people try to get sneaky, get two. It's like, nope, you're only getting one. That's it.
They were watching you. And they, the Bucs do it different. You don't walk through the gate and you don't get the item right away. You got to go to a central location where the giveaway is happening, and then the Bucs give it to you there. So they do it a little different. Pep and Step in that game was hot as hell. They ran out of water at our stand at one point. They ran out of beer at our stand at one point. J-Lo, they ran out of water and beer, but the Bucs might be running out of players. What say you on all these injuries?
Sucks, man. Absolutely sucks. We can't catch a break on these injuries. It's one after the other. I mean, our hearts dropped whenever Mike started limping off the field. I was like, oh, no. Not Mike, of all people. It's football, man. Injuries happen, but man, this just is not flying in our way when it comes to staying healthy and being away from the games and stuff. It's so rough. It's just terrible.
Yeah, people selling the bucket hats on eBay for $35 already. That's what a lot of people do. They get the giveaways to sell them, which is kind of a shame, but at least it gives you a chance to get it, but it does cost you money. So there you go. You could look him up on eBay. I am sure. Traffic always a menace around there. We're going to talk about our guy Desmond Watson's return here momentarily. Tyke Smith signed it. He was really cool, chatted with us briefly before the game. We had a lot of encounters throughout the game with players: Sterling Shepard, Derek Brooks, Ward Sapp, Brian Ford was a cool encounter. So we had a really good time. Yeah, it's like last year, right, Zach? Remember last year Evans missed time. I think he had to average like 111 or 130 yards a game. Ended up doing that, Zach. But what say you? Mike Evans' path to 1,000 yards gets a little trickier with his injury.
Well, just hopefully this makes everybody feel a little bit better. This is the 7th consecutive season with a hamstring injury for Mike Evans where he's going to miss time. So, I mean, some of it was in training camp, so he didn't miss all the time in the regular season, but he's no stranger to having to get those 1,000 yards in less than 17 games. So it happened early this year. Last year it happened a little bit later. Hopefully it's only 2 to 3 games and not 3 to 4 games, but I'm confident and we're still going to get there. I just hope they don't push him out this week. And then we have a situation where it gets as bad as it did in the Baltimore game last year. I'd rather see him sit 2 and then come back ready to go. I think Ibuka can hold it down. I think Ibuka has erased all doubts in people's minds. So I think he can hold it down if he's got to be wide receiver 1 until Godwin can come back. But I'm not overly concerned about Mike. I still think he's on track and he'll get it.
Yeah, real quick, B-Shuck, our guy saying, why won't it allow for super chats? Because since we hit the super chat threshold quickly, thanks to guys like B-Shuck and other listeners, we actually had to update our tax information. So it'll be back shortly once they approve that. They said within the coming days, it'll be an option again. So it's kind of like eBay when you hit the certain sale threshold. You have to update your tax info and whatnot and all that fun stuff. So sadly, yeah, we've been out of that for about a week now, but no Virgin. That's other stuff. Virgin Boys, 1,000 is more perks and subs and whatnot.
That's ad revenue, yeah.
Yeah, that's the ad revenue. Once you hit the 500 subs, your door starts opening. We have been monetized, but like I said, real life, every nook and cranny penny they can take from you nowadays. I think YouTube and the tax, not even tax, YouTube takes 30% off the top already, and that's not including taxes. So interesting stuff. It is what it is, but hey, we appreciate all of them, and it should be an option again by Saturday, hopefully by tomorrow when Katz and I do our deep dive into the 813 show, but definitely by Saturday we should have the super chats and memberships up and coming well. So we apologize for that, but we do appreciate you guys just chatting with us regularly. It's a great time to be a Bucs fan and a Buccateers listener. We got a lot of people tuned in. Great to see you, B-Shuck. That was fun. Only thing I wish is the damn bar would have had wrestling on. It was weird because all the bars had the pregame on, but, you know, this new ESPN package, as convenient as it is for some, it's screwing things up for some, I feel like, too, because it's like $30 a month, so maybe the bars don't get that. I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But J-Lo and I actually seen somebody with heat stroke, right, J-Lo?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, luckily she looked like she was okay, just concentrating on breathing and stuff. She had family surrounded her. You know, it's no joke here in Florida. You need to drink a lot of water, make sure you're hydrated. If not, you're not going to feel very well.
No, and that was scary to see. The Bucs are one of, if not the only team to stop the tush push. As Watson signed, and if so, will the Bucs bring him up? So here we go, Casanova. Here's the news today. The Bucs did bring back Desmond Watson to their practice squad. Desmond Watson is a Buccaneer again on the practice squad. And I'm going to go over why I like this for a couple of reasons. I've seen some people bickering at it, hating on it. That's fine, but I'm just going to give my side of the coin and why it's a win-win move, in my opinion. A, he's cheap. If you cut him, it's not really going to harm the franchise in any way, shape, or form. So, number one, money is not really an issue with this type of signing, especially a practice squad signing at this point in the game. Number two, it's Eagles week. even if he isn't active for the game, it's going to mess with the Eagles' mind during practice. You already see them being upset about the heat. They're flying in on Friday over Saturday to try and combat the heat. You best bet they're a team that, although they're very good, they could overthink things easily. You sign a guy like Desmond Watson, next thing you know, well, you're not going to know if he's active, if he's going to be inactive, what his situation might be. So that's going to be a help as well, is maybe just the mystery if Watson will be active or inactive or not. And C, you can never have too many defensive line bodies. We've already seen Logan Hall leave this week injured, although he should be back this week as he came back to the game. That shouldn't be a problem. We see Kalijah Cansey out for the year. I will say I was pretty impressed with Elijah Simmons in limited action. He said what's up to us as well. Great guy. Very cool dude. So that's going to be fun to see. But I would guess Watson is not up this week if I had a guess. I think they just like the physique and thought of him. But J-Lo, never say never. It wouldn't surprise me if next thing you know, just on tush-push type plays they put him in. I doubt it, but you never say never.
Well, first and foremost, he needs to get on the practice field, which he'll be able to, I believe, Wednesday or Tuesday they start practice. That way they can get an idea if he's really ready to step in or not. It's a big question up in the air, but like you said, it's a good, it's a good way to trip the Eagles up, get the Eagles thinking are they really going to, elevate him or not. We'll wait and see for the most part. But the fact the kid's getting a second shot of possibly playing in the NFL, that's what I'm really happy for. May take some time, but let's see how he practices. Let's see how he does when he's finally practicing with the team.
I agree, Zach. What say you about our guy, Desmond Watson? We talk about him here often, and now he gets maybe another chance with the Buccaneers. As Pepin says quickly, Shiloh Sanders went to the Niners. Well, he worked out for the Niners. He didn't officially sign there, but he did work out for the Niners. But Zach, what say you on Desmond Watson?
Well, I'll say this: the NFL season opener with the Chiefs and the Eagles. Is that the one the game was? And you saw I don't know if you guys saw it, but you saw the Chiefs player when the tush push happened. He actually took a swing at the ball. Did you guys notice that? And tried to knock the snap loose as a different methodology for stopping the tush push. So I think what Desmond Watson gives you is if you line him up right in front of the center, and as soon as the ball snaps, he just lays flat on the ground as the lowest man. There's no way in hell you're going to push 400 plus pounds of dead weight, right? So it's a different methodology to try to stop the tush push. I'm only half joking. I do think the kid's athletic as hell, right? He apparently did the things that the Bucs wanted him to do to regain this opportunity. So that's encouraging, right? He took it serious. He saw some consequences potentially from not meeting those expectations in training camp to get on the practice squad. So it's encouraging to see that he's done those things and he's going to be back. And, I'm all for having more tools in the tool belt to try to be successful. Anything that we can do to continue to stack these wins is going to be vital. So if he gives us an edge to stop that play, then let's do it, because they're running it 5-6 times a game now. So it's something that you're consistently seeing. So we definitely need to have a plan, because we will see it.
And we have done, no one does extremely well against it, but we have done pretty well for our standards against the tush, right? And that's due to the likes of Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey, but we're without Cansey now. Greg Gaines, by the way, if you look over our players to look out for, we did a hell of a job. Zach said Chase McLaughlin and Greg Gaines. They both had great games besides a McLaughlin blocked kick, which wasn't really his fault. J-Lo had Baker, who helped lead the comeback. I picked Sterling Shepard, who had a nice game in the receiver role there, wide receiver 3, kind of the slot guy. So we all picked very effective ones. Casanova Brown says, thank you for the intel on point. Yeah, personally, that's what I think is going to happen with Desmond Watson, and that's all our opinions on Desmond Watson. So we hope to see him out there potentially. But the Bucs have done decent, and Elijah Simmons is a big boy too, man. He's a big dude. Seeing him in person, so Jason Light as a type, it seems, big boy D lineman, and we'll see. Put Watson in as fullback. No, better yet, put Watson in as the Jalen Hurts role. Let Watson do the tush push. Can you imagine that? That's like Madden. What was it? Madden like 05, where you could put whoever you wanted in at quarterback. I remember I'd put Warren Sapp at quarterback at times just to like do quarterback sneaks. You'd fumble half of him, but then he'd break like 3 tackles on half of him. So there we go. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, Desmond Watson is back. The big man from Florida looks to be in better shape. And of course, bring him back on Eagles week, because Jason Light and this Buccaneers team are grade A master planners when it comes to mind games, when it comes to gamesmanship. They're 2 of the best in the game, just like the offensive lineman switcheroo. Oh, why didn't you tell anybody about it? Nobody asked. Half the time with these injuries, I mean, come on. Todd, I'm saying it's a great job, but Todd Bowles last week said Cody Mauch had a leg. You're telling me he didn't know he would have been out for so I just think they're doing a great job at disguising injuries until you have to make them known, disguising behind the scenes things until you have to make it public. I think that's what helps gives this Bucs team a edge up on some other teams. Coaching, front office, smarts. A lot of teams don't have it. Ruiz says, dope hat. Thanks, Cuzzo Chris. Yeah, appreciate it. These were the 19. If you look up John McKay, 1976, these were his bucket hats for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So a long time coming. But yeah, Bucs are full of gamesmanship, smartmanships. They know what they're doing as they earn that come from behind W. Real quick, Zach, what were you thinking in the stadium when the kick was blocked? How did you feel? What were you thinking when you seen the Jets running down the sideline and Aaron Glenn doing the hooky dookie bookie over there, doing that little dance?
I instantly blamed B-Shuck, because B-Shuck got way overconfident when we were up 13, said we were winning the game, and I told him to shut his mouth. He knows better. So when they went for the kick, because, there was that whole thing where they looked like they were going to go for it, and then they called timeout, and him and I were like, what are we doing? The field goal puts us up 9. That's 2, it's going to take 2 scores. And then they came out to kick the field goal, and he's like, I can't watch. I'm not watching it. And then he just heard my reaction, and I turned around and I kicked the chair that I was sitting in. And so it was something. And then I looked at the clock and I saw 1:40. I saw the timeout situation that we had, and I saw Baker Mayfield. And then I felt better, because I knew that Baker had us. So for a momentary lapse of upsetness from the field goal block to just the belief that in Baker we trust, and he came through once again.
In Baker we trust, and that was almost very scary times as a Bucs fan. J-Lo, what say you? How are you feeling?
My heart dropped. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that kick got blocked and we were losing when we had a big lead. I just didn't understand what's going on with special teams on the blocking. I just don't understand it at all. But yeah, my heart dropped. But at the same time, we had time on the clock, and Baker has been playing at a high level to where I had a strong feeling he was going to be able to move the ball down the field like he did, even though we got cheated out of, one play, which we'll talk about later. But for the most part, like I said, you can't go wrong with Baker Mayfield. He's gotten better in each game. He looked a little rusty week 1. But week 3, even he was pissed off. You couldn't believe how we just gave the lead away just like that. And he went in there and took care of business and did what he does best, slinging the ball, putting it where it needed to be, even without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin. If he's not going to be in the MVP conversation, I'll never understand that, because this man's playing just great ball right now. We can all agree to that.
Wouldn't be the first time a Buccaneer quarterback has been left out of the MVP conversation, undeservingly so. Brady should have beat Rodgers for it a couple years back, as we all know. I was frozen. I was recording it too. The fan next to me was like, welcome back. You watch a Jets fan from behind us. Yeah, it was one of those moments. I told J-Lo, I was like, man, I cannot watch this kick, the game-winning attempt. I'm like, just even though you never know, right? The last kick was blocked. McLaughlin was having his struggles, even though the Bucs did a hell of a job moving the ball downfield. I didn't trust the refs either. I thought at that point in time, hey, they already effed us on the Lazard catch, which was a drop. It hit the ground. He was not possessing the football. They effed us. I don't, again, although I think it's 100% a catch, I don't even care if you don't end up calling the Igbuka one a catch. It's just egregious. You don't even bring it to booth review. That's what really is terrible. So I thought the refs were going to do some kooky duke maneuver, even if we made the field goal, and call some freaking, center trying to trip the incoming defender, 15-yard penalty, and end the ball game or something like that. So until we made that game-winning kick, I just didn't have a great feeling in my body, but we ended up coming in clutch. Kristen Ruiz says, dope hats, Cleve and me, bucket hat bros, more love for the hats. A lot of block kicks. Jimmy Collette had 3 blocked field goals in 3 separate games in the matter of like 5 minutes was wild. Cleve and me, a lot of blocked kicks this weekend. I'm glad teams are finding a way to make field goals tougher. They're too easy lately. Yes, and the footballs are different too. That could have something with the kicking balls. Bucs Nation, it got hotter too with the sun after the blocked field goal. The cardiac Bucs, absolutely. B-Shuck taking accountability, saying my bad for that. So, Zach, that's your bone to pick. I'm not calling out B-Shuck. That was you.
Yeah, B-Shuck knows what he did. So
I will say, Pops was nervous, and J-Lo and I were the ones saying, oh, we're fine. We got this, even if they score here. And Pops was like, I just don't feel comfortable with this. And then the Jets kept scoring, coming back, tick, 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 tick. Here's a fun one. When Godwin comes back, will he be one, or will Emeka be the number one? Until Evans comes back, even though Godwin would be banged up, I would say Godwin assumes a number one role. As great as Emeka's been, and he might even out-target Godwin. He might out-snap Godwin because Godwin is going to be eased back from injury. So, in theory, yes, if you talk about statistics, if you talk about numbers, if you talk about snaps, sure, he might be number one. But in terms of who's going to be the number one when they're both in the game, Godwin will assume that role, in my opinion. He's an all-pro wide receiver, Super Bowl champ. And we have to remember, as great as Emeka's been at days, then he is a rookie. And I think he could handle it, say, if Chris and Mike are gone. But we have to remember why we're paying Godwin over $20 million a year. It's to be the dude when he's in the game, or at least one of the big dudes when he's in the game. But, Zach, what say you on that question? I agree in terms of maybe out-snapping the first couple games when he's on a pitch count, and even maybe out-targeting, like we've seen Igbuka out-target Mike one of the weeks so far. But in terms of being number one, Zach, I still think Godwin's that guy.
Yeah, I kind of look at this the same way I look at it when Mike and Godwin are on the field together. It's more of a 1A, 1B type thing than it is a 1-2. I think the coverage is going to dictate a lot of it. I also think we'll probably see a lot of sets where Emeka's on the field and Godwin's not because he's on a pitch count. And then in those reps where Emeka's not on the field, Godwin will be out on the field and be the number one. So I think it'll be more of a shared responsibility as they're, Emeka's still learning the NFL game and Godwin is still going to be, trying to get acclimated back to game speed and on a pitch count. So I think it'll be more of a shared responsibility. That the concern should be who's going to step up outside of those two and Sterling Shepard. Miller had a drop. I mean, the ball was, it was a tough catch, but he had a drop. We didn't see anything from Tez. I mean, other than he was open at it for and Baker missed him. But other than that, we didn't, so Otten hasn't stepped up really. I'd like to see Rashad utilized in more of a Deebo Samuel type role where he comes out of the backfield. We're lining him up in the slot. He's running receiver routes. He's capable of running those routes. I think he would really help the passing game. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
I agree. As we see, my mouth starts watering when I think about this wide receiver room all healthy. Yeah, Mike should only miss about 2 to 4 weeks. Godwin should be back this week or next week. McMillan should be back around week 10 or 11, in my opinion. So come late in the season, I mean, you're talking about maybe Sterling Shepard being wide receiver 5. But, Zach, I do agree with you. That's kind of what I was saying. You're going to see Buc out snap him. You're going to see him out target him. You're going to see him maybe even out produce him. But, you know, when they're both in the game, it's going to be fun because they kind of mimic each other as wide receivers. Defenses, again, if Godwin draws a double, you'll have to find Igbukah and you'll have to continue that one-handed catch, that fourth quarter catch, and then the non-catch catch. Those are some wide receiver 1 plays in this football league, and that's what Igbukah potentially is, a wide receiver 1. He definitely is down the road, and he could be already. Casanova, what's going on with our tight end room? Jayla, we'll let you get this one. My personal opinion, and I think they are lacking a little bit too, but with the O-line being a little more banged up, I think tight ends helping out the offensive line a little more. Cade Otton's been actually a really good blocker this year, something that not a lot of people are talking about. We've seen Keefe's role increase tremendously. Another blocking tight end, Payne Durham's been blocking well. So, J-Lo, my personal opinion, I think with their O-line banged up, we're asking these guys to block a little more. Not saying they should necessarily be invisible from the stat sheet, but I think that's part of the reason why they've been held in check thus far.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like you said, our line's been banged up. Then he has your blockers, and Cade's a really underrated blocker. He blocks really well, in my opinion. Payne Durham, another one. I think once we get the offensive line a little bit more, back to normal with Tristan returning, I think we'll see Cade get the ball a little bit more, maybe Payne Durham in the red zone. But right now, I'm not too worried about it. I'm fine with the blocking scheme right now to kind of help those tackles and guards, especially when you got one guard starting his first NFL game, undrafted free agent. You got to be able to bring in the tight ends to help block and protect Baker, because we don't want Baker going down either. And he's been doing tremendous plays. But, yes, I do agree. Tight end blocking is very important.
Yeah, somebody said, well, my guys said, Christian, aside from being 3-0, you love to see the dog shit Panthers fraud checking the Falcons. That score, I don't know about you, Zach, but J-Lo, myself, Pops kept looking at the scoreboard, and it's like, oh, Panthers scored again. Oh, Panthers scored again. Oh, Panthers scored again. And our whole section was like, man, this Falcons team's a little fraudulent. Raheem Morris has never done a great job of being a head coach yet in this league. And this is his third stint now, although he's been a very good coordinator. With Tampa, he had the one good year, but let's be honest, he let that team kind of roll off the rails a year after. Then his intern stint in Atlanta did not go well, and now this stint is not going the best. It's very early in the year, but Zach, what say you on the state of the NFC South? The Bucs are sitting pretty, obviously very, very early, but you love to be 3-0, and the next best team closest to you is the 1-2 Carolina Panthers.
Absolutely, a two-game lead feels great. Now we just got to continue to do business and cinch this thing early so we can let some guys get some rest before we start the playoff push.
Yeah, we're I know this is a Bucs related live, but for fantasy, giving Chubb and Genty for Taylor, is that worth it? No, I would keep Taylor right now. If it's a dynasty league and you don't think you're going to go anywhere in the playoffs this year, and your team's kind of meh, I'd maybe consider it, only because Genty's a rookie. But if you're fighting for the playoffs, or if you're in a non-dynasty league, it's a no-brainer. Keep Jonathan Taylor all day. Nick Chubb's ceiling is going to max out for multiple reasons. Texans need offensive help. They could bring in anybody at any given time, and Joe Mixon probably will eventually return. I guess it's not a guarantee, but it's likely he does. So, no. I think Bucs fans need to temper expectation when Godwin comes back. Yep, pitch count. He's definitely not going to come in and play 100% of the snap, like Zach alluded to, like I alluded to. And that's what's nice about a guy like Igbukah. Thank you, Jason Light, because I got on the pick right away, and I'm like, this is a great pick. But before that, I'm like, we wouldn't draft a wide receiver. But now you're looking back, and it's like, again, like I talked about earlier, the Bucs front office and coaching staff is always one-upping the gamesmanship, is always one step ahead of the game. Again, that Igbukah draft pick kind of acknowledges that to me, especially. Richard, the great Richard T. Happy Victory Tuesday, fellas. Hope all is well. Yeah, Richard, us three had a great time at the game in the 813, and now we're all home doing our thing. Vita, Jason Jones, Simmons, and Watson. Don't forget Greg Gaines. Gaines is a big boy too, Christopher. But yeah, those guys. Again, J-Lo, wasn't Simmons big? Like, I looked up Elijah Simmons, but in person, he's even bigger than, he appears online and whatnot.
No, absolutely. He's a big run stuffer from what I read when we signed him last week, pretty much. The guy looks like he's going to be a big help when it comes to stopping the run, especially with Cansey being out. That's huge. But see him in person, he's big. And don't sleep on Greg Gaines. He's built like a horse too. Seeing him in person. I remember I kept telling you, look how built Greg Gaines is. But you want to go ahead with that guy? Heck no. So yeah, we got some beefy guys on there. But Elijah Simmons, absolutely.
Bud Cannibalist agreeing with my input. Bucks Nation says the other way around. No, I would take Taylor for that.
Oh yeah, you jump on that. If it's a redraft league, you definitely jump all over that. Taylor's outplaying both of those guys, so that way you get more points in your lineup because you're doing a 2-for-1, right? So you're replacing two running backs with one. Now you can add another running back somewhere else and get more points. Taylor's been on a heater so far, and Genty is going to play himself off the field for a while until he learns how to block. That kid is going to get Geno killed.
Agreed. J-Lo, we're going to give you – I love the questions. Keep them coming. We're live on the Buccateers. We're a pod for the people, so we answer all the questions we get. Hit that like button, subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. You have fantasy questions, non-Bucks questions. Zach, J-Lo, myself will take care of you. Should we be worried about this weekend, J-Lo? Is our guy Bucks Rays Bolts checks in? We'll let you answer that one.
I mean, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game, no doubt. But me, I'm not so worried because we're at home. I feel the Heat's going to benefit in our favor because, the Bucks play in the Heat. And that's why the Eagles are flying, a day sooner to get acclimated to the Heat. But honestly, the way Baker's playing with what he's got, I'm just confident he can get the job done. Maybe it might be ugly, but a win's a win, and I'll take it. So, yes, a little worried here and there, depending on who we got in the offensive line. But at the same time, you got to give Coach Carberry, a lot of kudos for getting these offensive linemen that haven't started an NFL game ready to go and playing pretty decent. And, yeah, we got flagged a lot for holding, for the most part.
Carberry was another one who gave us a little head nod as we gave him his flowers.
Oh, yeah. I saw him. I said, keep up the good work. Get these boys ready to play. And sure enough, they did. They stepped up to the plate. So to answer his question, I'm not too stressed about it. I think we're going to get a good football game in general, no matter what the outcome is. That's why that 3-0 start was important. It was very important to start 3-0.
Yeah, and we had a very nice guy follow us, by the way. J-Lo and I were up, meeting the players, meeting the coaches, getting autographs and whatnot, interacting. And some nice guy said, hey, you guys know your team really well, or know this Bucks team really well. How so? And I'm like, oh, we got a pod, whatever. He asked for the pod name, started following the pod, proceeded to take a selfie with me. So that was pretty cool stuff. If you're out there listening, hit us up. I'm going to send you a mini helmet or shirt or something for being cool, appreciative of the show. It's always nice meeting fans in person. Buckin says if we go 2-2, yeah, I would rule this a 5-game tough stretch, not a 4, as bad as New Orleans has been. They always play us tough. And you know that Tyler Shuck, rookie quarterback, momentumous wave is going to be smacking as well. But J-Lo, as Pops alluded to, you did a great job explaining Carberry, but you got to give Grizz his flowers as well.
Yes.
Josh Grizzard has done a great job. Pops texted into the show, got to give our new OC coordinator too some love along with Baker. Couldn't agree more, and that's a good point. Again, this is our 4th OC in 4 years. It's a hard one to maneuver, but you get over it if you're this Bucks team, and that's what happened. Yeah, anytime, Bucks Nation.
Well,
no worries. Our guy Bud Cannibalist cheers and Gaines and Brewer too. Yeah, we signed CJ Brewer to the active today. Zach, thoughts on that?
Yeah, more beef. I think we're beefing up for that tush push. They know it's coming, so we're doing everything in our power to to get ready for it. I'd love to see what's going on in practice. I'd love to see that practice being being had as we try to prepare for it, because you got to be ready for it, because they're going to be offsides, they're going to false start, so you got to get ready for it and keep bringing in the beef, man.
No, I would not take Kincaid for Bowers. What say you, Zach?
No, Bowers he's a little banged up. But if you see when he played healthy the first part of that first game, he had over 100 yards within by halftime, and then he got a little dinged up. So I think once he gets that, I don't know if he's still playing with that brace or not, but I think that's affecting him a little bit. So once he gets a little bit healthier, he'll come through. And the Bills, man, the Bills skill players are outside of James Cook. They're such a tough roster, because you never know who's going to be the guy that week. Between Kincaid and Knox and Coleman, and you just never know who's going to be the guy. So I unless you're getting James Cook in that deal, I wouldn't entertain it at all.
Agreed. Bud says he would think with all the new player safety rules in the past few years, it would lead to less injuries. Yeah, but you got to remember all the innovation, less preseason, more turf, all this fun, cute, fancy stuff. Doesn't always work. Yeah, less practice, right? Just all this crazy stuff. J-Lo, I'm going to give you this one, but this one's easy. I think I know your answer.
Hell to the no. We don't need that. We don't need that cancer in the locker room. He don't get me wrong. He's somewhat of a good player, keyword somewhat, but his attitude and what he brings to the table does not belong on this team.
The 0-3 Texans would not release him if they thought he could help that team at all. They're 0-3, and they released him. That should be about as eye-opening as it gets right there. And
the only role he should have on the team is he should stand on the sideline, and if Baker gets hurt, he has to run up and start immediately talking shit to Bake, so Bake heals himself. That's the only role he has.
That's a great answer.
And plus, I haven't forgotten when he injured Godwin too and put him out for the season, which screwed us as well. So no, even though he's a former Gator, but no, he doesn't belong in this team. No effing way. That's all I can really say. No.
Yeah, it's your dirty Gators over there, J-Lo, that are causing all this mayhem in the NFL.
That's only one, sir.
I don't know. I feel like it was the tight end that might be a little on the sketchy side.
Oh, come on, man.
And I won't mention that old Jacksonville coach. But anyways, we are live here on the Buccateers. Oh, that tight end comment got me. You can like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. We always have fun. We always have a good time, and we did sign a tight end as well, as we'll get to that here shortly. It was a UDFA elsewhere that the Bucs ended up bringing in, and it made sense later in the day when Keefe ended up the injury news broke on Keefe. That's very sad to hear, but it made sense. They did bring in a tight end to sign then, because obviously they needed another body, and this tight end will report to the practice squad. But J-Lo, you shared the news with the Buccateers group chat, and I want to say this: even if he never ends up coming to the active roster, I do like that the Bucs sign bodies, bring in bodies to kind of compete regardless, right? Not saying they necessarily even need to get playing time, but Cade Prescorn, sorry if I'm butchering the name, but he was signed today, and he's a big boy, 6'6", 246 pounds, out of Ole Miss, J-Lo, originally with the Lions. And Danny Campbell, the kneecap biting son of a gun, has a good eye for tight ends, has a good eye for offense. So, J-Lo, thoughts on this signing? It's probably just a depth one, but thoughts on it?
Depth-wise, yes. But also with a size like that, it seems like he's more of a blocking tight end to me. So I'm all for it. I'm always about the blocking tight end, supporting to help create another, blocking situation to create holes. That's what it seems to me. But you can never have enough depth. Injuries have been happening like crazy, dropping like flies. So to me, you bring a guy like that in to learn the system, see if he fits in there. And if he's good enough, Light's got a good eye for undrafted free agents. He knows how to find them. So to me, I feel this could be a home run pickup. You never know. Another injury could happen, elevate him, and he could be a hell of a blocker to where we can run the ball.
Yeah, Christopher Cole says Culp should play Sunday. Absolutely. He's going to go into that tight end 3 role. Zach, do you think it's possible that Otten and Durham being a little bit better blockers, maybe in a weird way we see not Culp run more routes, but maybe he'll be, because Keefe was tight end 3, but he was used strictly blocking, whereas Culp will be tight end 3, but not strictly passing downs, but he'll probably appear more in passing downs than a guy like Payne Durham. Maybe this Keefe injury probably has to reshuffle a couple of things.
Yeah, I think Culp brings a more dynamic receiving tight end in the passing game than Durham does. Durham's especially between the 20s. Durham's more of your red zone threat just because of his size and his ability to box out. So I think Culp might have a little bit more speed than both Otten and Durham. So we might see him a little bit, especially depending on how much Godwin can go. That's what I'm really looking for is the third and fourth options, because when Abuka's out there and Godwin's not, he's going to get the doubles, and then Shepard's going to get the primary coverages after that. So we're going to need those second tier guys to really step up, and I think Culp might kind of just be the spark that we need from the tight end room. Because he doesn't offer as much in the blocking scheme as Otten and Durham do.
Richard is joining us, sadly. Sorry, we got some bad feedback somewhere, it seems like. We'll try and clean that up. But wait, what happened to Keefe? He's out, leg injury, IR, out at least 4 games. And Rick Stroud said it could be season ending. So that is that, sadly. And this Bucs team keeps getting more banged up by the week, and he's another Co is a key part of this offense. Don't get it mistaken. He would not be on this team if he wasn't, as he's a great blocking tight end, a fullback type piece as well. K-Dot could be. He could be. Yeah, what do you think about that, Zach?
Yeah, could be. Like I said, we need those pieces to step up after, Emeka, Godwin, and Sterling. Could be Cade. We just don't know. Could be Miller. Could be Tez. We don't know. We just need somebody to.
Yeah, and we see this. His wife is pretty popular on TikTok. Is that the Bucs' new tight end maybe he's talking about? I would assume. Maybe so. So we'll see. Who are you talking about, Bucking the new tight end on the Bucs? We'll see. But maybe so. TikTok. Everybody's a TikTok star nowadays, it seems like. I'll tell you what, man, that damn TikTok John Gruden says. No, it was cool. I want to talk about this real quick. Halftime show was probably the coolest halftime show I've ever seen at a Bucs game as a Bucs fan. It's a great Elmo Nito is joining us on Facebook. But Zach and JLo, I want to get your thoughts on it as well. That was Buccaneer heaven. Hunting, shout out to the old store, Buccaneer Heaven, back in the day. That was a hell of a store. I miss that store. They had literally a Mike Elstock Coca-Cola machine outside the store. Every Bucs thing you could think of in the store closed a while ago. But the halftime show was Buccaneer Heaven. 141 former coaches and players and personnel along the like were honored at halftime on Sunday, and they all held the 50th season sign midfield together. That was very cool. They had at least one player or coach from every year there. Zach, it was just cool seeing guys like Bruce Arians hanging with his old friends like Ryan Jensen and other Super Bowl champs like Ellie Marpet, Shaq Barrett, or it was cool seeing a guy like John Gruden get to catch up with the Warren Sapps of the world. And then they did a roundtable on Bucs social media that had Hardy on it, had Work Done on it, had Arians on it, had a couple of other guys. So Zach, our guy James Canada, our guy Brad Johnson, both friend of the programs, we had him on our off-season alumni tour, toasting 50 years of football. James Canada, Brad Johnson, seeing Martin Gramatica. Zach just brought back so many memories. Every little player, even a guy like John Franklin, who had one game here, just awesome stuff. Or not one game, one season, but Zach, just awesome stuff no matter who they honored.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Freeman was there. I mean, it was crazy, all the guys that came back. And you know what's really funny is, so Brian and I stayed at the Renaissance, and we come out of the hotel to go to the game. And as you walk out the doors, across from the doors, there's a little bench that sits there while you're waiting on your car, and BA's sitting there, right?
Wow.
So Brian and I are like, "Hey, what's up, Coach?" Get in Brian's car, drive away. We get about, I don't know, 2 minutes down the road, and Brian's like, "Should we have gotten a picture with him?" I was like, "Well, it's kind of late now," but yeah. So that happened, and then all I could think about during the halftime show, aside from, man, look at all these cool players here, is how do I fit one of those big ass Lombardis in this basement? Man, those things were awesome. So it was pretty cool. It was a good time.
Those were cool, obviously representing the 2 Bucs Super Bowls as well, but they were big blow up, like yard inflatable looking Lombardi types, and it was incredible. The Bucs did a great job. They really did. Abraham, hey Tones, great show. Thanks for the Buccaneers podcast merchandise. Absolutely, man. We appreciate you checking in. We're glad you won one of our packages for being a great listener. That's all it takes sometimes. We'll be doing another giveaway live on tomorrow's show, a deep dive into the 813 where Katz and I actually rank our top 5 front office head coaches, coordinators, you name it. Everybody's set on players. We're going to give you the reverse role in Buccaneers history. Katz and I doing our first special on the Bucs tomorrow. But J-Lo, thoughts on the halftime show? That was really cool. I know we were excited when big game James Canada got up to the plate, especially.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there were so many names. Brought me back to my childhood, why I became a Bucs fan. Just some of these names, you know, like Carl the Truth Williams. That was like, oh, gee, that was like a legendary name, you know. I believe Riedel Anthony was there too. Riedel Anthony got brought up. I mean, but James Canada, friend of the show, it was good to see him get recognized. Brad Johnson, of course, and of course our 2 Super Bowl winning coaches, Bruce Arians and John Gruden.
Only one guy there that grinded our gears. I don't know if we should reveal him or not.
I'll keep it to myself. Let's just say he lost a fan, you know, of him. That's all I can really say. I won't hate on his kid, but I definitely won't be a fan of his. Especially he wore that ugly Jets sweater. I'm like, oh, bro, take that crap off, man. You didn't do nothing special over there. Anyway, I'm not gonna mention his name. But overall, shout out to the Bucs for what they did for all the legend Buck players, giving them props and everything. The coaches, JPP, good seeing him there. Also, Shaq Barrett. I mean, we can go down the road of names, but it was just
Big Red Jensen signed a couple autographs. It was cool seeing a couple of other awesome players getting honored there. When I was in the airport, I got a beer on the way out. Surprise. It was a little OG bar in the Tampa airport. If you fly to Chicago, you know it well, but it's by the Goody over there. It's by a couple of those other little bars. Used to be the Chili's in there, but the bartender in there actually said, yeah, she got a couple of the Bucs alumni in the airport after the game because she recognized them because those were really cool polos that said their name and their years of service for the Bucs. So she actually had a couple, but other people honored. Shelton Corals was there. He was honored. That was very cool. You know, Shelton's a legend, an honorary guy. And it was just, it's awesome to see him keep coming back all these years later. So just great to see, as you said, J-Lo, JPP, he was looking good. Cyril Grayson was there. Remember, he had a big game-winning catch in the Tom Brady days. Oh, how quick we forget. So
Andrew Adams.
Andrew Adams, there you go. Just a lot of cool underrated names. I mean, yeah, we could go on all day if we name all 140. But it was awesome. It was just awesome. Yeah, everybody was booing the refs, I feel like. Boo, they stink. Ooh. It was glad we overcame. Somebody makes a good point on Co Keefe. You could say Co won us the game, the hustle off the field, so he didn't have to burn an injury timeout. Yeah, there we go. Shout out to Co. I'll get some applause for Co. And then for the refs. There we go.
They heard me when they left after the game, that's for sure. They already heard most of us Bucs fans. Oof.
Yeah, I didn't have didn't have a lot of voice left after that one. I'll just keep it at that. Keep it PG, box it up, and call it a day. No, I wasn't vulgar. I wasn't being bad, but I was being loud, and I will say it was annoying, some of the calls. But the Bucs overcame, and that's what good teams do. And they missed, even though I don't agree with that stupid field goal elevation or elevating rule, they missed that one, is you can't make contact with any player. And they made contact with Eli Klein's leg. And Klein, if you watch a replay, pointed it out right to the ref right away, said, hey, look. And the refs did nothing as usual, as expected. Those refs were terrible. We were in 119, J-Lo and I, so that was cool. Zach, what section were you in?
135.
So we were not too far, both in the 100 level. But speaking of level, the Bucs are looking to level the Eagles' undefeated season this week when the Eagles come to town. Obviously, longtime rivalries as we shut down the vet. Rondé Barber got that pick 6, but Eagles coming to town. You could tell their fans are coming. I already seen fans coming into the airport wearing Eagles gear on Monday, so you know they're going to be staying there a whole week. A lot of Eagles fans are diehard. Zach, they're playing a lot again lately in the playoffs, especially. Is this rivalry being renewed, Bucs Eagles?
It seems like it. We've seen them a lot recently. Too much, maybe. I'm not a Philly fan. Never been a Philly fan. Not a fan of green. So nothing about Philly to like. Hope we can pull this out. I think the biggest obstacle will be not getting that officiating crew again. So as long as that doesn't happen, I think that levels the playing field a little bit. But it's gonna be a tough game. Gonna be a tough game, and it's gonna be another stressful, nail biting, want to throw up type game. But most of the OG Buck fans are used to that because that is Buck ball.
J-Lo, I think you'll be at the game, right? What say you on the Eagles? You'll actually be at 4 Bucs games, all 4 preseason and regular season games you have been to so far.
What can I say? I love my team. Even sitting out there in the heat, I'll do it all day for them. But yeah, the plan is I will be at the game.
Gene.
Yep, me and Gene. I believe Pless is going too. So me and Gene, Pless, and I will be sitting together at the Bucs Eagles game. So I'll be looking forward to hearing that stupid song, from the Eagles. Blah.
Oh, this is our Eagles. This is our team. We love that guy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
it's more like bye Eagles, bye Fucku Eagles. That's my little song for them. But anyway, yeah, I'll probably be at the game, but I won't get no fight or nothing. I promise. I know how to be a decent fan when it comes to ignoring the BS that they bring to the stadium. But it's going to be a tough game. Like Zach said, it's going to be tough. I feel like we can compete with them at the level Baker's playing, I think, and it possibly getting worse back. That'll be a big plus with the offensive line to reshuffle again. But the defense hasn't looked too bad. They have played a pretty good amount for the most part besides that BS, playing soft on them toward the end of the game. But to me, Philly is beatable. They're not unbeatable. I feel like they're very beatable. And
Christopher Cole saying, I watch a Falcon fan pod reaction before I lose my thoughts. Stink, but I think a friend of the show, Stink Bastard, posted that on Twitter. And those crack me up every single week. So great job, Christopher, pointing that out for those wanting to see. Go on over to Stink Bastard's Twitter. I'm going to be mad if those refs there.
I think we all will.
Hopefully they're not. That's all I could say. Bud, it's a Bucs life. It certainly is a Bucs life indeed. Bulls lives rent-free in Hurt's head. Yeah, the only time they beat us in the past 4 matchups was when I was there Monday Night Football a couple of years back. We actually honored Rondé Barber at halftime that night. It was a Monday night doubleheader. I saw a Bucs and Jets fight after the game. Ooh, that's not good. I didn't see anything close to that. Zach, did you?
No, I didn't. Everybody was pretty amicable for the most part, but that's shocking.
Yeah, that is. J-Lo and I were hanging with the Jets fan the night before at the hotel bar. He was a cool dude, and I didn't have a lot of problem with Jets fans, actually. J-Lo, did you?
No, It was annoying when they were cheering for them. I can't open my mouth. You heard me, like Pop said, you heard a lot of my mouth, talking to certain, Jets fan base across. But no, to me, the Jets fans weren't that bad. They were actually pretty chill.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with them. I did see, I don't know if it was either that game or a different game, and it was just the footage, but I seen a video of like a Bucs fan fighting another Bucs fan because he tried to take his money over some TikTok thing or something like that. It was weird, but I didn't see Jets fan or Bucs fan going at it. So if you have a clip or something, Bucs Raise Bold, send it to me on X at Tampa Tones. I'd love to see. Well, I'd hate to see it because that should never be. If you're going to games to fight, shame on you. Shame on you because you're ruining it for the rest of the people, that are there to have a good time, to watch what they pay for. Don't be that jackass that gets drunk. You can't handle yourself. You getting thrown out of a game. You're the reason why there's more security strictness in this world. You're the reason why we can't enjoy our lives fully. Just stop going to games. Stop drinking if that's what provokes you, or stop going to games if you can't hold yourself back. But you see the Seahawks putting undercover fans in the stands as security guards trying to control this. This seemingly is a problem more and more. Army tank and pull it. Whoa, I don't think a fight's gonna get an army tank, but that would be crazy if it did.
Just don't be a Randy Marsh, okay? Let's keep our hands to ourselves and enjoy the football game.
Exactly. Don't start, none won't be none. Exactly. Bud Cannibalist puts it pretty simple, but Zach, quickly wrap up those thoughts on fights. I just hate it, man. To me, if you're gonna even remotely, it's different if like you're at the game with your kid and someone shoves your kid and it's like, oh, you're drunk, you're swearing at my kid now, you just shoved my kid, now you're shoving me. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? But if it's like, oh, F the Jets, I'm going to go up to a Jets fan and punch him because he's a Jets fan and I think it's hilarious. No, that's what has to stop.
Well, my philosophy on it is you can go to an away stadium and you can be passionate about your team, and you can also be respectful of the people that sit around you, because nothing that you do in those stands is going to affect the play on the field. So the fact that you get to a point where you're going to get into fisticuffs with somebody, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Be a bigger person. But I will say on that note about being a better fan, don't stick your dirty ass tissues in somebody else's drink cup. All right, because that's what happened to me. Right, I'm sitting in the game. This gentleman next to me was really old, but I had my refillable cup, was nowhere near being finished drinking, and I looked down and he put his dirty tissue all up in my cup. And I look at Brian and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? This guy's like 100 years old. I can't say something to him. What if he like has a heart attack? Because I said, why'd you put your tissue in my cup? So just be better than that. All right. Like that's the bar. All right. Just go have fun, talk your shit, but don't put your tissues in people's cups and don't punch people in the face. I mean, I think it's pretty simple rules to live by.
The tissues one, it's like, come on. I wish I had a tissue for the kid in front of J-Lo and I, because he was sticking his nose and eating it. That shit was interesting.
But you handled it well, by the way, Tones, the way you handled it. So, like I said, please sit down. And sure enough, finally he sat down. Yeah,
B-Shuck, I do agree with you. I don't watch a fight either, but what if it's the row you're in or the section in front of you? Next thing you know, you got a fisticuffs brouhaha going on. When I was at Bucs Dolphins, it was about to happen in my row. I'm a Dolphins fan that looked like Jonah Hill, old Jonah Hill, not the new Jonah Hill, but a Dolphins fan that looked like the old Jonah Hill was literally nonstop chirping, flapping. There were kids around him. He kept dropping swear words. And then someone said, kids are around, please stop. He's like, I don't give a F. I paid for this, blah, blah, blah. So some huge, like 400-pound Bucs fan sitting next to him got up and said, you're going to have to stop or else I'm going to do something about it. Kids are around, and the Dolphins fan was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, all in his face, trying to escalate the situation. The Bucs fan ended up saying, I'm just going to sit down. You dare touch me, though, it's over. And the Dolphins fan kept clapping in his face like this right next to him. Eventually, security came and kicked the fan out. So kudos to security for getting involved. And thanks, J-Lo, for your kudos on how I handled that fan. But, man, it's crazy. And, yeah, Eagles fans booed Santa, so they'll probably boo you. Don't get in a fight with any Eagles fans. But we are live on the Buccateers, and we are back tomorrow. ACAT's Tampa Tones on a deep dive into the 813 history of Bucs we're going to be talking about tomorrow, so very exciting stuff there. J-Lo's campus kickoff will be back on Thursday. Be on the lookout for that. That'll be a lot of fun. Joey Nips towing the line will be back Thursday as well. He looks into the world of the NFL. Then our Saturday showdown will be back Saturday. And then Zach and I will be back with Man Cave on Monday. So the show goes on. It never stops. It keeps rolling here on the Buccateers. And like I said, giveaway coming tomorrow as well. We got a couple other giveaways in the works, potentially a jersey from the Great Gene and some other things as well. So fun times ahead. Never miss a beat, never miss a minute here on the Buccateers. But Zach, before we close things out, anything you want to bring up Bucs-wise that we might have missed?
I don't know, man. I think we got in it. It was great being in Ray J. It was great to be at a game where we beat a backup quarterback, where we won in week 3 and are 3-0 in the first time in 20 years, where we won in a throwback uniform, and not just any throwback uniform, but the 76 throwback uniform. The first time that uniform combo has seen victory in the NFL. And it was great to be there and experience that. The uniforms looked great. The Bucs fans did it up and almost whited out the stadium. It was good to see. There wasn't as many, at least from my vantage point, there wasn't many green blotches throughout the stadium. It was hot as hell. Glazers, please put some shade on the stadium in some way, shape, or form. Not all of us are from Florida that come there, and it's miserable to sit in your own sweat for 4 hours and watch your beloved Bucs. Other than that, it was great. I got to hang out with some folks down there, so it's always a good time. And it's always a good time hanging out with B-Shuck. So it was a great weekend.
This is hilarious, Zach, and I agree with everything you said. Hanging out with you, B-Shuck, a couple other friends of ours we got dinner with Saturday as well. Obviously, J-Lo, brother of mine, hanging with you, but Greg Allman cracks me up. Desmond Watson keeps his old number 56 for those jersey aficionados, by the way. Go order a Watson. Just kidding. Maybe not, but he's number 56. And Greg Allman says the nickname Hardy Thickerson still works. That just cracks me up right there. And then new tight end Caden Prescorn gets number 83. But J-Lo, final words for the program. I thought Zach did a pretty good job of summing up the weekend. Diehard fans, come out to the game, out of state, sweat, get victories, meet brothers, have some beers, and have a good time.
No, I couldn't agree more. It was good hanging out with you and Zach at the same time for dinner. That was awesome. Just chopping it up, just enjoying each other's good company, good time. B-Shuck was cool too, for the most part. But I do want to say this. Don't make a scene. It's Jamel Dean. The man got a pit sits. We didn't talk about that, and I'm going to bring it up right now. That man has played very well ball, took a pit cut to stay. The man's balling. That pit sits was epic. Go ahead.
Great point, J-Lo. Not to cut you off, but Zach, you, myself, we've all thus far have very high praise, and Zach's always been the number one Jamel Dean guy. So good job mentioning that, J-Lo. Shame on us that we did not bring that up.
Did you guys see the replay yet? How the second pick that he got, the PI call, how was it pass interference? I haven't seen the replay yet.
It was a very ticky-tack pass interference, one of those that I don't fully agree with, definitely. And J-Lo, that was like the third Bucs interception in the past 2 games we've been at that's been called back by penalty. I think the other one was Kayvon Merriweather against the Raiders, and somebody else against the Raiders too. But we've had bad luck. Jamel Dean should have had 2.
Exactly. It just goes to show how well he's playing, besides that, whatever penalty that was. But the fact that he got that pit sits, that definitely was awesome to see that rejuvenated for the most part. Now, hopefully some fans will get off his back and cut the man some slack for the most part. He's played good ball. So shout out to Jamel Dean. Great job, brother. Keep up the good work, man. We're all rooting for you.
Yeah, don't make a scene. It's Jamel Dean, baby. I love Jamel and Yaya. Smiles are contagious too, man. Those 2 guys are smiling all the time. They'll be cheesing, smiling press game. You lose, you win. I love those 2. I love this Bucs team. I'm a Jamel Dean guy, man. I am, and he's proved himself to be a great asset, especially with that pay cut. Are you kidding me? It was like, not only is he playing great, but he's saving the team a lot of money as well. So just incredible stuff there. And some of his stats are with the best of the best this year for NFL corners. I think he's only let up 30-something yards and 5 catches through 3 games right now. Are you freaking kidding me, as John Gruden would say, man? Are you kidding me, man? So, Jamel, we appreciate you very, very much so. I think you got to give some love for sure. And I'm going to give love to one guy quick that we haven't mentioned either, but Charlie Strong, I think, has made a big difference. Defensive line coach for this Bucs team. Cansey's missed time. Let's remember a big-time Buck, Will Golston. Shout out to Will Golston, by the way, as he's on the Bucs show now with Casey Phillips. Every Monday, Will Golston helps out. But he had a lot of new linemen in. He has some rookies, UDFAs in there. He's doing big things with that defensive line, Charlie Strong is. So kudos to him. And real quickly, forgot to mention this as well. The great Tom Brady returns to Tampa Sunday. He'll be on the call in the booth, 1 o'clock Eastern on Fox when the Eagles come to town. So Tom Brady comes back to town as well. But fellas, great pod, great show, awesome stuff, brothers, and always fire the damn cannons. Zach, J-Lo, Tampa Tones, not joining us, Joey Nips, A-Cats, and the rest of the crew. Even Bucko was at the game, but he's like Casper. He's pretty invisible. So, we'll see if we suit up, we'll need you. Yeah, I'm offering. I know Will Golston's out there, but I'll play O-line. I don't care that I might last one play and get a career-ending injury after one play, but put me in at right guard out there, baby. I can make some moves happen. But nonetheless, fellas, it's been a great night, been a very fun one. It's always better when you win, as it's a two-me-up Tuesday for the Eagles game. Desmond Watson's a Buck again. Evans and Keith set to miss some time, so bittersweet show. But Zach, great hat. J-Lo, great hat. Looking like some, was that ZZ Top, fine dress men? Sharp dressed. Yep, there we go, with ZZ Top. So, fellas, until next time, Zach, hopefully see you Saturday, if not Monday. J-Lo, see you Thursday for the campus kickoff, fellas.
Yes, sir. Go Bucs.
To all our great chatters, Bud. Yeah, I know you meant Will, but I'm here too. I'm just saying I'm available too. But Bud, Trisha, Olive, Richard T, and all. Yep, he is Richard. So that's going to be great. It was Cam Brate last year, Ali Marpet before him, and now it's Will Golston. So, and he was there on Sunday too. So Zach, J-Lo, and I, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cats and I in the house, 6 o'clock Eastern, same spot, same place, with the giveaway to be had. So we'll see you then. Please fire the damn cannons. Bro, we'll put it like that. What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time. But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But you know, to watch that and to think I wish I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, hey, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Yeah, catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it's just, it was fun to watch. And yeah, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
And honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. You know, growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, dang, you know, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, you know, once he took over Rich McCann, and still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then can I make it do it?
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers of wide receiver Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go.